Good day everyone! So, for today's discussion, ang i-discuss natin ay isang klase ng renewable energy generator na kung saan it is all about harnessing the energy coming from the wind. Okay? So, doon pa lang may concept na tayo na eh. So, ang i-discuss namin sa inyo ngayon is all about wind turbines. Okay? So, ano nga ba yung wind turbines? Bago natin ipaliwanag yan, gusto ko muna sanang ipakilala sa inyo kung sino-sino ba yung mga Ginoo na sasamahan tayong ipaliwanag ang wind turbine o yung mga bagay na may kinalaman sa wind turbine. So, ako nga pala, si Arnel Sadsad, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you my group mates. Okay, so we have Mr. Darrell Ernest Piñero, and we have Mr. Terence Joshua Biag, we have Mr. Erwin Fasticon, we have Mr. Junel Gutwal, we have Mr. Miko Harvey Moresco, and Mr. Edmar Constantino. Okay, so in behalf of my group mates, we are hoping na sana after this discussion is may matutunan naman tayo kahit papaano about wind turbines. And let's all be enlightened na yung parang malalaking fan sa gilid ng dalampasigan are things that are not producing wind. They are things that are producing power or electricity using winds. Okay. So, tara na guys, alamin na natin kung ano yung wind turbines. Okay. So, ano nga ba yung sinasabi nila na wind turbine? So, from the word itself, may wind na agad eh, no? So, hangin, turbina. Okay. So, kung meron man sa atin na hindi pa nakakakita ng wind turbine, tignan natin itong unang litrato. So, itong unang litrato na ito yung close-up picture ng isang wind turbine. So, makikita natin, para siyang fan. Meron siyang tatlong LEC, which as those are the blades. Okay, and makikita natin yung likod niya. Yan yung nag-housing ng mga vital parts. And yung tungkod, pababa na yan, yan yung tower o yan yung nakabaon sa lupa. Okay, so yan yung itsura ng wind turbine. So, sa loob ng wind turbine, ito naman yung makikita natin kung bubuksan natin yung saradong wind turbine na yan o yung part ng wind turbine na yan. So, yun, nakikita natin, andyan nakalagay kung saan nakadugtong yung mga blades. Okay? And then, yung mga vital parts, mamaya papangalanan natin yan. So, ganyan yung itsura noong loob ng wind turbine. Yan. So, paano naman ba napupunta sa bahay-bahay natin yung electricity na napuproduce sa mga wind farms? O ano yung process? Okay. So, ganito yan. Tignan nyo sa may picture. So, sa bawat wind turbine, di ba bawat wind turbine nagpuproduce ng electricity yan. So, yung mga electricity na yun, pumupunta, nakikita nyo ba yung mga, ayan, yung mga power lines dun sa baba ng mga wind turbines. Okay, so yan is connected in series. So, yung mga electricity na napuproduce each is pumupunta dyan and in series na pupunta sa may power transformer na kung saan yung pinagsama-sama na yun, i-step up niya, ipupunta niya sa grid. So, usually, karamihan, 1,000 volts yan. Approximately 230 kilovolts. Okay? So, yun yung usually na laki ng voltahe na freshly coming from wind farms. So, yun, yung 230 kilovolts na yun, pupunta sa mga substations. Okay? So, step down, punta sa substation, step down ng mga transformers hanggang sa maging 230 volts na lang and yun na yung pupunta sa ating bahay-bahay. So, magagamit natin yan sa mga saksakan, lightnings, and other usage basta ng electricity. Okay. So, yung 239 volts, guys, Okay. So, ngayon, dako na tayo sa pakahulugan. Kung ano nga ba yung wind turbine. Okay, so mag-focus tayo sa may operational or operating principle. So, pag sinabi nating wind turbine, guys, nabanggit ko kanina, di ba? It is a renewable energy na kung saan ang ginagawa nito is hinaharness niya yung wind para mag-produce ng electricity. So, that's how the wind turbine works. Okay, so yung basic idea is that merong rotor, yung rotor yun yung rotating part ng wind turbine na nakadugtong yung mga blades, okay? So yung blades na yun is connected to the shaft na through hub, okay? So kapag hinanginan yung blades, so ikot yun, yung shaft connected sa generator, and pag umikot yung generator, ayun, mag-generate na ng kuryente. Okay. So guys, pag single wind turbine, ang tawag doon wind turbine. Ngayon, pag multiple na yan, marami na, so they are called wind farms na. Okay. So mamaya, may mga mababanggit dyan na mga kilalang wind farms sa buong mundo. Okay, next. Ngayon, punta naman tayo sa may parts. Okay, ano naman yung mga parts ng wind turbine? Ano ba yung mga nagpapagalaw? Ano ba yung mga function ng mga parts na yan? Okay, so isa-isahin natin guys. Sa bandang harap, makikita natin yung rotor. So that's the rotating part. The rotor contains the blades and also the hub. Okay, so yung blades na yan, yan yung nagpa-function as LC nga, yan. Kapag yan yung hinanginan, iikot. So, those are the blades. And yung blades is connected to the hub. And the hub is connected to that, ay nakikita nyo yung kulay blue. So, yung kulay blue na yan, yan yung low speed shaft. Low speed shaft kasi, yung bilis niyan is the same lang sa may bilis ng pag-ikot ng blade o ng rotor. Okay, so exactly the same. And the next is yung gearbox. Okay, so si low speed shaft is connected sa gearbox. Ang miracle kay gearbox is that yung maikli, yung mabagal na ikot ni low speed shaft, pabibilisin niya yan. At, so yun yung trabaho ni gearbox. And yung the next part is yung high speed shaft. Okay? So si gearbox connected sa high speed shaft. So yung mabagal na ikot ni low speed shaft, pabibilisin ni gearbox. Pagpunta kay high speed shaft, mabilis na yan. So pagpunta kay generator, sa isang ikot ng wind turbine, apakadaming rotation na yung nangyari dun sa may generator. So, malaki yung napuproduce na electricity, na-generate na electricity sa maikling panahon ng pag-ikot ng rotor or nung blades. Okay. So, yun yung ibang parts. Ngayon, syempre, alam naman natin na yung pag-ikot, yung hangin is may iba't ibang direction. So, hindi dapat fix yung ulo ng isang wind turbine. So, ano naman yung system na nagpapaikot doon sa may ulo ng wind turbine? Okay? Ano yung naghaharap sa wind? Okay, so dyan napapasok yung yaw system. Okay, so si yaw system, andyan yung dalawang parts ng wind turbine, which is the yaw drive and yaw motor. Okay, so si yaw drive and yaw motor, sila yung nagtitilt, nag-ikot noong ulo ng wind turbine para laging humarap sa may wind. Okay, so paano naman malalaman nung yaw system kung saan siya harap? Okay, so dyan napapasok yung mga rear parts ng wind turbine. Kita nyo sa bandang likod, ayan, yung parang nakadugtong na buntot na yan. Okay, so yan yung nagsisignal kung saan iikot si yaw system. Okay, so yung parang may flag na kulay blue na yon, yun tinatawag na wind vane. Okay, so ang purpose niyan is to know kung saan yung direction ng hangin. Okay, so pag nalaman ni wind vane, magbabato ng information yan kay controller na ipupunta niya kay yaw system para malaman kung saan liliko o haharap si yaw system o kung saan niya iharap yung blades. Okay, so yun yung trabaho ni wind vane. And yun namang bilis or yung itong anemometer, ang tinitignan niya is yung bilis ng hangin. Okay, so yan, kapag nalaman yung bilis ng hangin, pupunta kay controller, magbabato ng information. Kapag sobrang yung lakas ng hangin, dyan napapasok si brake. Okay, si brake is also a part of wind turbine. Automatically yan. Kapag nakita niyang sobra yung lakas ng hangin sa intended na dapat na bilis lang para sa isang wind turbine, automatically niyang ihihinto yung operation. So, walang rotation na mangyayari. And then, si brake also, kapag may na-detect yan na malfunctioning o hindi magandang pagpa-function noong wind turbine, ayan, kusa yan na humihinto. And the last but not the least part of a wind turbine is the tower. Yan. So, tower, yun yung tungkod niya lang para may support sa lupa. Okay. So, those are the parts of a wind turbine. Next, punta naman tayo dun sa may blade. Okay, focus tayo sa blade. Ano nga ba yung function ulit ng blade? So, napapayaw na natin kanina. Si blade ay siya yung part ng wind turbine na umiikot every time na tinatamaan ng hangin yung wind turbine. Okay, so siya yung rotating part, nagro-rotate. And si blade is connected to the low speed shaft. through the hub. Ayun, nakita nyo na yung hub. Yun yung hub, yung kinabitan ng blades. So, the low-speed shaft is connected to the gearbox and connected to the high-speed shaft, connected to the generator, and iikot yung generator, magpuproduce ng electricity. Okay. So, sabi, the most efficient number of blades is 3. Ayan. Kapag tatlo yung blade ng isang wind turbine, masasabing maximum efficiency yon. Okay? So, kumbaga, balance. Though mas mataas yung lift force, kumbaga, sakto yung drag force, sakto yung lift force. Okay, tatlo. Okay, yun yung sabi dyan, eh. And then, punta naman tayo sa may blade design. Sabi, dapat ang blade is mas maganda kung taller and larger. Bakit? Okay. So, syempre, it is basically because kapag mas malaki yung wind blade mo o yung turbine blades mo, 'di ba? Mas malaki o mas madami yung ma-harness ng wind, mas madami yung mapuproduce niyang power, o mas madami mapuproduce ng electricity kapag nag-generate na. Okay. So, dapat mas maganda taller and larger. Okay? And then, also, kapag ganun ang nangyayari, okay, masasabi natin na yung pinuproduce niya is maximum power and only by minimum cost. Okay? And then, dapat sa pag-design daw ng wind blade, ayan, dapat compact, dapat tahimik, and then, syempre, nagpuproduce ng mabilis or mabilis yung pag-ikot sa maliit lang na hampas ng hangin. Okay, so sinabi na yung average na sukat ng isang wind turbine blade is 50 meters. But noon is nagkaroon ng record ng pinakamahaba which is 107 meters na produce or from Siemens Gamesa. But as of now, alam nyo ba na meron na namang mas mahaba dyan. That is from China, which is the 131 meters blade. Okay, so yun na ang pinakamahaba sa buong mundo as of now. Okay, so tatandaan nyo yun, guys. So, ito yung ratio ng laki noong wind blade na pinroduce ng Siemens Gamesa. Okay, so tignan nyo, yung tao napakaliit, ano? Ayun yung tao nandun sa may butas ng wind blade. O, di ba? Ang laki. Yan yung 107 meters. Ano pa kayo 131 meters? Napakahaba. Okay, so yan lang para makita lang natin kung gaano kalaki nga ba talaga yung wind turbine. Okay, so dito naman tayo sa may blade design, airfoils. Pag sinabi natin airfoils, guys, yan yung cross-sectional shape ng wind blade. Kapag tinadtad natin, yan, nakikita nyo nandito sa may right side. Kapag tinadtad natin yung wind blade na yan, so mahati-hati yan, tapos tignan natin yung butas, yung hollow part. Okay, so yun yung sinasabi nilang airfoil. So, bakit ganyan yung shape? Okay? Bakit may kurba? Okay? Hindi na lang parang airplane na ganon. O, diba? O yung mga fan na, bagay, tingin sa fan, may curve din. Okay? So, yan is made in purpose. Okay? And one of the main reason is to have a pressure difference. Okay? Tignan nyo dyan, sinabi na ganyan yung design ng airfoil para sa aerodynamics. Okay. Kasi yung dun sa may less na yan, sa less curve na yan, kapag ganyan yung shape, is mas mabilis yung hangin doon sa may dulo ng, or tip ng wind blade. Yun yung magkakos para umikot din yung wind blade natin. Parang, ayun, sa may pressure difference, kapag high pressure, doon lagi yan sa may less curve. Ayan, kaya may less curve eh, kaya hindi pantay. Tapos, low pressure lang dun sa may more curve. So, yun yung magtutulak kasi always, kapag may high pressure and low pressure going always on low pressure. Ayan, so, yun ang magpapaikot sa may blade natin. Okay, so, yan din yung reason kung bakit, yun nga, ayun, sinabi dyan na yung blade tips ng wind turbine is mas mabilis pa yung ikot or yung velocity noon compared sa may velocity ng wind. O, di ba? Yan yung till now is mahirap alamin kung bakit. Kasi kahit saan naman kapag may force, kung steady, di ba? Kapag tinamaan ng force yun, equal lang yung bilis ng tinamaan kapag tumugak. Okay? So, kung titignan nyo yan, parang impossible, ano? Mas mabilis pa yung pag-ikot ng blade kumpara sa may velocity ng hangin. Okay? So, that is the airfoil. Okay.
So, dito naman tayo sa airfoils design. So, makikita natin dito yung 6 types of airfoils design within 2 airfoil families. So, yung una is yung thin airfoil family, and yung pangalawa is yung thick airfoil family. Kung mapapansin nyo, the thin airfoil family looks obviously thinner than the thick airfoil family. Ito yung mga nakasabi dito. Tip region airfoil, yun yung series 5806. Series 5805 naman is a primary outboard airfoil, yung itsura niya. Yung root region airfoil naman, Series 5807, ganyan yung itsura niya. More like blades. Dito naman sa thick airfoil family, we have the Series 5813, the tip region airfoil. Series 58112, primary outboard airfoil, and ang Series 5811, root region airfoil. So, yan yung differences ng mga airfoils ng isang wind turbine. Dito naman tayo ngayon sa blade design of a wind turbine. Sabi dito, wind turbine blades work by generating two aerodynamic forces, lift and drag. This is due to the wind and their airfoils. Lift force is perpendicular to the airflow and is in line with the blade rotation. Drag force, however, is in line with the apparent wind direction, which in opposition of the blade motion. Drag increases in proportion to the frontal area of an object facing the wind. So, yun daw itsura ng lift and drag force. Yung two types ng force na nagwo-work sa isang wind turbine. And within din siya sa blade. So, kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung lift force is perpendicular dun sa blade. Pataas siya kung makikita natin sa figure. While the drag force, sinusundan niya yung saan papunta yung blade. So, sabi dito na yung drag daw ang nag-i-increase siya in proportion to the frontal area of the object facing the wind. So, yan ang explanation sa drag and lift force ng isang wind turbine. So, we have drag and lift formula. Ito yung mga dalawang forces na binanggit natin kanina that acts on a blade sa isang wind turbine. So, kung mapapansin nyo dito, ang sabi dito is drag and lift formula, coefficients of lift and drag. So, sa lift daw, ang formula niya is F sub L is equal to C sub L times 1/2 rho A times U squared. So, yung C sub L daw is how effectively the wind turns pressure into lift. So, lift coefficient naman is C sub L is equal to F sub L over 1/2 times rho times A times U squared. So, sa drag force naman, meron tayong F sub D is equal to C sub D times 1/2 times rho A U squared. So, yung C sub D daw, how much of the pressure is converted to drag. So, drag coefficient is C sub D is equal to F sub D over 1/2 times rho A U squared. Dito naman tayo sa next slide. What we have here is the blade aerodynamics of a wind turbine. Ang sabi dito, let's read first. Another thing that the airfoil is able to bring is for the blade to attain the difference in pressure on both sides, sabi. The most curved side, or we may say the convex side, generates low pressure, while the high pressure air pushes on the less curved side. Or we may say the side with slightly concave part. This is actually the reason for the blade's rotation. So, yun daw yung reason ba't nagro-rotate yung blade. Banggitin ulit natin. The most curved side daw, o yung convex side, has a low pressure, while yung less curved side has a high pressure, causing the blades to turn. So, kung makikita nyo dito sa diagram, makikita nyo na pataas yung bending force. Lift force is almost pataas but on an angle. Turning force naman is on the x-axis, kung makikita nyo, or inline siya sa rotation. Tapos makikita nyo rin dito yung wind due to the rotation, apparent with direction, and true wind direction. Yan yung cross-sectional view ng isang blade and how the wind works in the blade of a wind turbine. Pag-usapan naman natin ngayon yung blade or wind orientation. So, nandito pa rin tayo sa blade aerodynamics ng isang wind turbine. So, may question dito. Ano daw yung leading and yung trailing end sa isang blade ng wind turbine? So, sa tingin nyo, ano ba ang leading and trailing end? Well, to answer that question, The blades extract kinetic energy from the wind daw and transforms it into a rotational kinetic energy. So, yun daw yung reason ba't umiikot ang isang blade ng wind turbine, which is then harnessed in the turbine's mechanical and electrical systems to generate electricity. So, yun daw yung generate ng isang electricity for the wind turbine. The rounded front edge of the blade, ito yung tinatanong natin kanina, is the leading edge, and the sharper rear edge is the trailing edge. So ngayong alam nyo na kung ano yung leading and trailing edge, mas mabibigyan kayo ng mas madaming information kung paano ba talaga gumagana ang blade ng isang wind turbine. Move on to another question naman about pa rin naman sa wind orientation ng blade aerodynamics ng isang wind turbine. Sabi dito, what will be the rotation of the blade? Is it pushed to the side that has more curve or pushed to the side that has less curve? So, sa tingin nyo, ano ba ang sagot dito? Well, to answer that question, ito ang magiging sagot natin. Wind turbine blades rotate due to the difference in air pressure between the curved and flatter side of the blade, or yung less curved side of the blade. The curved side has low air pressure while the flat side has high air pressure. The difference in air pressure creates lift, yung sinabi natin kanina, which causes the rotor to spin. The direction is due what? Sabi dito, due clockwise daw. So that's the answer. Ang rotation daw is due clockwise.
Okay, ngayon naman dito tayo sa wind orientation ng blade. Kung mapapansin natin dito sa picture, pinapakita dito yung front side at saka yung back side ng blade. Pati na din yung leading edge at saka yung trailing edge nito. Base dun sa previous slide na diniscuss, mas malalaman na natin, i-indicate na natin kung paano nga ba yung magiging ikot ng wind turbine natin, kung pa-clockwise or pa-counterclockwise. So, hindi na natin may isasagot sa mga nagtatanong sa atin na kaya daw umiikot yung isang wind turbine ay dahil sa hangin. So ngayon, may papaliwanag na natin to ng mas maayos. Okay, next, dito tayo sa blade design. Kung mapapansin nyo kanina dun sa picture na pinakita ko, mapapansin nyo yung blade doon ay naka-twist. At saka dito sa picture na to, mapapansin natin na naka-tapered to. Ibig sabihin, patulis siya. So, bakit nga ba ganun yung blade ng ating wind turbine? Sabi dito, ito ay nag-enhance ng aerodynamics ng ating blade. Ngayon, with the combined effect ng twisting at saka tapering, the blade along its length improves the angle of attack, increasing speed, efficiency, and lift while reducing drag. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang pala yung pagka-twist at saka pagka-tapered ng blades yung nagpa-improves ng ating wind turbine. Pati na rin yung length at saka yung length nito, yung haba ng ating blade. Mas mahaba, mas okay. Kasi na-increase nito yung speed, yung efficiency, at saka yung lift force. Saka syempre, napapabawas nito o nare-reduce nito yung drag force na nagagawa ng blades natin. Okay, next. So, ngayon, ito yung tanong. Base dun sa previous slides, what number of blades is the best design in consideration of all factors in construction and operation of wind turbine? Ano nga ba yung number ng blades na pinaka mas okay na kino-consider lahat ng factors in construction at dun sa operation ng wind? So, sa mga next slides, malalaman natin kung ilang number of blades nga ba yung pinaka best design. So, we've already know that the rear of the blade is curved more than the front. So, alam na natin na yung likod ng blade ay mas curved kaysa sa harap nito. So, bakit nga ba ganon? This bird shape causes the pressure differential. When the air moves across the blade, which is what causes the blades to move. So, ibig sabihin pala, yung curve na, dahil dun sa curve na nasa likod, mas more than kesa sa front, nagkakos ito ng pressure differential. Na yung pressure differential na to, ito naman yung nagkakos kung bakit nagro-rotate yung blades natin. Because of the obstruction of blade, air moves at a faster velocity behind the blade than in front of it. This is what sets the rotation of the blades in motion. So dahil daw sa obstruction ng blade, mas mabilis daw yung velocity sa likod ng blade kesa sa harap nito. Ito ngayon yung nagsaset ng rotation ng blades sa motion. So, yung mga engineers, mas kino-consider daw nila yung speed sa yung drag sa pagde-design ng blades. Siyempre, para mas mataas yung level ng efficiency na makikreate nito. Ngayon, for example, mas mataas yung drag force na nakikreate ng blades. So, ibig sabihin, mas mababa yung power na makukuha natin. Kung yung drag force naman ay maliit lang or makonti lang, yung blades natin ay mag-moves ng mas mabilis. So, ibig sabihin, mas mataas yung power na mapoproduce ng ating wind turbine. So, next, meron tayong tinatawag dito na the rule of thumb. So, ano-ano nga ba yung the rule of thumb na to? Una, the fewer blades, the better, since there will be less drag and increase in efficiency. Sabi, mas makonti daw yung blades ay mas better. Ibig sabihin, kung yung blades natin ay konti lang, mas okay yun. Kasi, nababawasan nito yung drag force at napapataas naman yung efficiency ng ating wind turbine. So, pangalawa, the number of blade increases the torque and reduces the optimum rotation speed. Sabi naman dito sa pangalawa, mas maraming blade, mas napapataas nito yung torque o yung rotation force ng ating wind turbine. Kaya lang, nababawasan nito yung optimum rotation speed. Pumapasok dito yung example na ng sprocket ng motor. Kung mapapansin natin sa sprocket ng motor, mas malaki, mas maraming tip ng sprocket, mas mabagal yung motor natin. Kaya lang, mas malakas itong humitak. Ngayon, kung mas maliit naman, or mas maunti yung tip ng, yung ipin ng ating sprocket, mas mabilis yung motor natin. Kaya lang, masihina yung paghatak nito. Ganon din sa ating wind turbine. Dito naman sa pangatlo, having fewer blades reduces drag. So, katulad lang din ng una, mas makonti yung blades, mas nare-reduce natin yung drag force. So, dito tayo sa one blade. Because of the decreased drag, one blade would be the optimum number when it comes to energy yield. However, one blade could cause the turbine to become unbalanced, and this is not a practical choice for the stability of the turbine. So, dito sa one blade, di ba sabi kanina, mas makonting blade, mas better. Kaya lang, dito sa one blade na to, may isang problema tayo. Yung ating turbine daw ay nagiging unbalanced. So, syempre, kapag unbalanced yung ating wind turbine, magkakaroon ng stresses yung iba pa nating mga parts. So, this is not a practical choice. So, hindi ito naging choice para sa stability ng turbine.
Wind turbine, two-blade. At first glance, two-bladed turbines seems like the optimal configuration for a wind turbine. Perfectly balanced and with one blade less than a three-bladed turbine. They will generate less drag So why are not all turbines made with two blades? It has troubles in yawing. Yaw is when its head for nacelle turns to face the wind due to an effect called geoscopic precision. When a two-blade turbine yaw, it creates a wobble as the blades go from the vertical plane to the horizontal plane, which places additional stress on the mounting bearing, wearing them down faster. So yung more than 3 blades, any numbers of blade greater than 3 will create greater and resistance, slowing the generation of electricity and thus become less efficient than a 3-blade turbine. So makikita natin na mas prepared talaga na mas maganda yung 3-blade. Kasi kapag isang blade lang is unbalanced, pag dalawang blade is parang may problem sa yawing, at yung 3-blade is pinaka the best na sukat. Parang sa 5, di ba? Pinaka gitna ng 5 is 3. Pag masyadong madami, masyadong mabigat, kaya konting electricity lang yung nakakuha doon. For these reasons, turbines designed with 3 blades are the ideal compromise between high energy yield and greater stability and durability of the turbine itself. So yun, mas maganda talaga yung 3 blades. Wind turbine. Blade tilting mechanism. According to the wind speed, the relative velocity angle of the wind also changes. A blade tilting mechanism is a sensor coupled parts of the wind turbine, which tilts the blade and guarantees a proper alignment of the blades with the relative velocity, so that its position is always at the optimum angle of attack. Ayan. So next is nacelle. So what is nacelle? The nacelle is the housing of the blade which contains the slow speed shaft, gearbox, generator, and the other small parts inside of it. So nacelle, dito daw nakalagay yung mga parts, yung maliliit na parts, and from the word housing of the blade, nandito na rin yung slow speed shafts, gearbox, and generator. Dito siya nakalagay, and yung mga small parts inside of it.
A common ratio is about 90 to 1 with a rate of 16.7 revolution per minute. Input from the rotor to 1500 revolution per minute output for the generator. So basically, sinasabi lang dito na yung isang ikot ng blade ay katumbas ng ikot ng isang gearbox ay 90 times. So parang yung blade ay chill lang, tapos yung gearbox ay sobrang bilis na parang nag-aalproto. Tapos ang input sa rotor ay 16.7 revolution per minute input. Tapos yung output naman sa generator ay 1500 revolution per minute. Kasi nga dahil sa gearbox yun, mas pinapabilis niya yung ikot para mas madami ma-generate na energy. So, sa direct drive naman tayo. In direct drive turbine, there's no gearbox. The main shaft spins the generator directly, causing it to spin at the same speed as the turbine blades. Comparing to gear type, the slow rotation and decrease in moving parts of permanent magnet direct drive generator reduce fatigue and stresses on the turbine, resulting to reduced noise and vibration, longer lifetime, and lower cost of maintenance. So, itong direct drive ay gearless na siya. Wala na siyang gearbox. Ang nag-spin sa kanya ay yung mismong generator. Kaya nag-spin lang din siya tulad ng pag-spin ng blades. So, mabagal lang siya. Kaya nare-reduce yung fatigue at stress ng turbine. Kaya nagre-result ito sa reduce din ng noise at vibration. Kaya masasabi natin mas magtatagal sila at minsan lang ang maintenance. An important fact is that due to wind inconsistency, the grid-type turbines often operate at partial loads. The efficiency of the Fairbairn magnet direct drive generator excels even in this condition because it continues working nearly to nominal values. This design works suited even in offshore wind application. So, sinasabi lang dito yung efficiency ng permanent magnet direct drive generator na nag-excel pa rin kahit may wind inconsistency. Na patuloy pa rin na nag-work in nominal values. Kaya pwede din siyang kahit sa malayong pangpang. One main disadvantage of permanent magnet direct drive is that to make up for its slower rotation, more magnets are added to create the required frequency and power. This increases the diameter of the generator, which makes it larger and often heavier than grid-type wind turbine. Another thing is that the additional magnets being used in this type is made of neodymium, which is expensive. Ang disadvantage nga lang ng ganitong turbine ay dahil nga mabagal ang ikot nito, ay need ng madaming magnet para makapag-create ng decent frequency at power. So, ibig sabihin lang nun, lalaki yung generator at madalas mas mabigat pa to sa isang grid type. And then, kaya sobrang mahal nito is because of the magnet na ginagamit nila, which is yung neodymium. 95% ay makikita lang sa China. So, kaya mahal siya. The cost and weight of the direct drive turbines have prevented it from presenting major competition to the gearbox turbines until recently. But other experts claim that direct drive technology will eventually become the dominant one, since the gearbox wind turbine is almost at its maximum efficiency point, while the permanent magnet direct drive generators have more possibilities for improvement. Yung gearless ay sobrang mahal at mabigat, so yun yung sabi sa kanina. Kaya marami pa rin pinipili yung gearbox. Pero sinasabi ng mga expert na malalampasan nito yung gearbox dahil maraming possibility for improvement kasi madami pa rin pwedeng pagbabago. Ganun. So, dito naman tayo sa brake. The brake system in a wind turbine is a protective device coupled with sensor which automatically stops the rotation of the blades whenever it detects activities that could harm the system during operation. Very high wind speed, vital force networking, maintenance of power lines, and etc. So, from the word itself, in a brake. So, brake, di ba? Hinihinto. So, hinihinto niya ito kapag may nadetect siyang abnormalities. Kusang hinto yung turbine. Mga example nito yung sobrang bilis na wind speed kasi pwedeng masira yung turbine kapag ano. Tapos kapag merong hindi gumagana dun sa parts ng turbine, hinihinto niya rin to. Tsaka yung maintenance sa power lines.
Let's talk about yaw system. Consists of yaw drive and yaw motor. It is located right below the nacelle. To give you an insight, the turbine shouldn't be fixed or it should be flexible to follow where the wind direction came from. This is where the yaw system works. With the help of wind vane that dictate the point where the wind are coming to maximize the amount of electricity to produce. Next, the tower. The wind velocity increases at higher altitude, meaning the taller the tower, the greater the electricity it creates, and that's the reason for the tower. A cone-shaped tower that holds the important part of the wind turbine. It is designed to be bigger on base to make it more stable. Nowadays, the average hub height of a wind turbine is 160 meters, and of course, it depends on the blade's diameter. In Shipkow Geekon wind turbine, whose construction started on September 2024 in Germany, will be the tallest turbine in the world. It consists of 300-meter high lattice tower that can produce up to 3.8 megawatts, and a rotor diameter of 126 meters will be installed. So the total height of construction structure will be 363 meters. Now, let's see the difference or ratio of nowadays design from previous features regarding the height of the tower and the diameter of the rotor. To simplify, we can see that when the tower gets higher, the diameter of the blade gets longer, and it is because the higher the tower, the better. And it is common sense that the changes in their height is increasing. And because the wind turbine blade are spin through the wind, the best place for the wind farm to be located are in coastal areas where the ground is higher and there are no structure that disrupt the quality of the wind. But there are also some places where the wind is strong and reliable, and some of it are offshore. To be worthwhile, there should be an average wind speed of around 25 km per hour for the wind turbine to work. Now, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the wind turbine. Let's first take a look in advantages. Wind is free and wind farm needs no fuel because it's spin through wind, and because the wind turbine doesn't need fuel, it doesn't produce waste or any greenhouse gases. And because the only land that needed to create a wind turbine is the base of the tower, the land beneath the wind turbine can still be used in anything such as farming and houses. And because the usual remote areas are in coastal areas or in mountains, it is very good method of supply of energy. Now, let's talk about its disadvantages. And because it runs through wind, and also the wind is very unpredictable. It can be too strong or it can be too weak. And also the wind changes through season by season. Also, the wind turbine is suitable in coastal areas. The expenses of creating it is very high, and it can be afforded in some places or in some countries. And lastly, it can affect television reception. Now, let's talk about the largest wind farm in the world. First is the Gansu Wind Farm with a capacity of 20,000 megawatts, and it's located in China. Second is the Alta Wind Energy Center with over 3,000 megawatts, and it's located in California, USA. The third is Wapandal Wind Farm with only over 1,500 megawatts in capacity, and it is located in India. Next is Herbodesea Project 1 with over 1,218 megawatts in capacity, and it's located in UK. Park by Dead Wind Farm with over 4,400 capacity, and it is located in Sweden. And lastly, the Gäslabber Wind Park with over 1,064 megawatts in capacity, and it's also located in India.
So, the Gansu Wind Farm. The Gansu Wind Farm project, or Jiquan Wind Power Base, is a group of large wind farm under construction in western Gansu province in China. So, in 2008, Construction began on a 750 kilovolts AC power line to carry electricity from the wind farm, and the construction of these wind farms themselves started in August 2009. And in November 10, officials announced the completion of the project's first phase, involving the installation of over 3,500 wind turbines with an installed capacity of approximately 5,160 megawatts. So it has an estimated cost of 120 billion Chinese yuan, or in dollars that is 7.5 billion. The project is being built by more than 20 developers. So in our current time, 2025, as of today, the Gansu Wind Farm, also known as Jikwang Wind Power Base, is considered the world's largest operation wind farm located in China, with a current capacity of 10 gigawatts of power and the planned capacity of 20 gigawatts. So, bali ngayon, ang turbine ngayon ng Gansu Wind Farm is 7,000 wind turbines. So, it currently generating 10 gigawatts of power. So, pinaplano nila na mag-ooperate ito ng, or magpo-produce ito ng 20 gigawatts. So, this is one of the biggest wind farm globally. Not exactly one of the biggest. This is the largest wind farm globally. So they are planning to reach 200 gigawatts. So recently, June 2021, they reached the milestone of 10 gigawatts of power. Now we have the Burgos Wind Farm. The 150 megawatts Burgos Wind Farm is the largest wind power project in Southeast Asia, located in Burgos, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. That's the wind farm here in our country. The estimated cost for the construction of the wind farm was 450 million, which was completed in 2015, located within a 600-hectare site. The facility consists of 50 wind turbines, each with capacity of 3 megawatts, generating electricity to the Luzon grid. Each wind turbine rests on a tubular steel tower, has a 75-meter hub height and a 90-meter rotor diameter. We have here, here in our next slide is the wind turbine, which is the grid operation. So here in our next slide is the wind turbine grid operation. So we have here the wind power, or the fuel of our generator. The wind pressure or force is causing the rotor blade to rotate. The rotor blade is connected to the low-speed shaft, which is connected to the gearbox. Then the gearbox make the high-speed shaft to rotate even more faster. So, kino-convert ng gearbox yung rotation ng blade na mabagal upang bumilis ito. So, the high-speed shaft is connected to the generator, thus making it spin and produce the efficient power needed. So the generator is connected to the power cables all the way down to through the tower and down to the transformer. Now the transformer is making the voltage to the voltage to step up into a 230 kilovolts. Now the grid line will continue along the way, and another transformer will step down the 230 kilovolts to 269 kilovolts. Then another transformer will step down it to 13.8, and lastly our our last transformer will step down the 13.8 kilovolts into 230 volts, which will now go through the houses in our neighborhood.